Today, everybody, I'm going to review the Yacon. This is a root that is eaten like a fruit. Not only that, but this root can be reduced down into a syrup that is used as a purportedly healthy alternative to sugar. So I'm going to try that too. Hello, everybody. So you may have heard of a culinary vegetable that is like a plant that is not a vegetable that is used as a vegetable. So for instance, tomatoes would be a culinary vegetable. They are botanically a fruit, but they are used as a vegetable. Well, there are also what I would call a culinary fruit, but there are far fewer of them. I've talked about a couple of them in the past, like hibiscus would be a culinary fruit. It's technically the calyx of a flower, and that can be used in different fruit applications. People make fruit juice out of it. However, it is not a fruit. So what I'm going to talk about today is another culinary fruit, and that one is actually a root, the Yacon. I checked to see what the pronunciation for this is. I heard Yacon, Yacon, Yacón.
Yacón.
Yacon. Yacón.
I don't know. This was sent to me by Matt and Megan over at Wanderlust Nursery. So if you're interested in this, there is a link to their website in the description below. This is originally from the highlands of the Andes. You can find this in a lot of different South American countries, but it's also popular in Japan and I think Korea as well, where they'll take this and make pickles out of it. You may have heard about this because Yacon is actually a popular thing for dieting. This has a lot of water in it, it has a lot of fiber in it, it does not have a lot of calories in it. So this is a way to bulk up your food and be able to get full faster without getting those extra calories. However, there is a monkey's paw trade-off with this because if you eat a lot of this, it will give you gas and diarrhea. It might make you thin, but nobody's going to want to be anywhere near you. But I'm not here to talk about health. I'm here to talk about flavor. So let's give this a try. I peeled a small one, and it looks like this. It kind of looks like water chestnut or something. When I put this against the light, you can see the light like shining through it. That's how much water is in here. All right, so let's try it. I got a little slice here. That's really good. It's very refreshing and very crispy. When you bite into it, it just releases all this juice. The sweetness on this is not super high, but it does have sweetness. I'd say it's like a 3 out of 10. So it's interesting to me that this is used as a sweetener, but you must really have to boil it down to get that. It's not potatoey at all. There's no earthiness to it. It's very like clean tasting. Maybe a little bit like sugar cane, just less sweet. And a touch of like a carrot flavor and a touch of like a celery flavor, but not in a very strong like vegetal way. It definitely tastes like a sweet. Okay, so first off, welcome to my new kitchen, everybody. I have a new space, and yeah, I think it's going to be better, especially when I get better lighting. So it might be a little shadowy right now, but we'll deal. I got some Yacon syrup off Amazon. It's 8.8 ounces of Yacon syrup, and it was $15. Which is a little bit crazy, but this is actually the cheapest option that I could find on Amazon. And also, the safety seal got popped. I'm sure it's fine. So I'm a little bit conflicted about health food products like this because one of the big purposes for my channel is to promote plant diversity. I want people to go out and try something that they haven't had before. I think that that is ultimately good for the environment. Maybe farmers will grow more of these harder to get plants because there's more of a demand for it. That's good. And also, it just makes life more interesting if people are using lesser known ingredients. You know, it's not just meat and potatoes, it can be so much more. And products like this are kind of helping in a way. It's making it more accessible to have Yacon on somebody's table, but it's also exploiting the fact that it is hard to access. You know, like maybe not this one in particular. You know, I can give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe they are just you know, small operation and, you know, expenses are high. That happens. But there are a lot of health food companies and supplement companies charging way too much for something. Often the quality is very low. They exotify the ingredients and what it's supposed to be good for, often getting things wrong. And one of the worst things is that some of these companies are leaning so hard into how it's supposed to be good for you that they release it as like a pill or a powder that you're meant to choke down rather than appreciate the plant for what it is. This one, I believe, is not meant to be choked down. However, it also is not really meant to be enjoyed for it to be Yacon syrup. This is meant to be enjoyed as something that is healthier than sugar. The reason why people seek this out as an alternative to sugar is that it's lower in calories than sugar, it is a prebiotic, and it is a low glycemic index. It's got a glycemic index of, I believe, 40. I'm not so interested in this as a sugar alternative. I'm interested in the fact that somebody took Yacon roots and boiled it down into a syrup. And I think that's interesting. So I'm going to try to look at it not as something that is better than sugar. I'm trying to look at it as something that is interesting that you can do with Yacon. Okay, let's do it. Ugh, I'm making a mess, but I'm going to just try a little spoon of it. Ooh, that is actually quite good. It doesn't taste like sugar. It tastes like molasses. Maybe not like straight up molasses. It's a little bit milder than that. I mean, like molasses, like evened out with some corn syrup and maybe a little bit of like a caramel flavor thrown in there. It's got like a roastiness to it and a nuttiness to it. Slight bitterness to it. And there is like a slight bit of a vegetal taste in there, like carroty or parsnippy or something. Sweet potatoey maybe, but it's slight. I don't know if I would have thought that if I didn't know that this was made out of a root. I think putting this in baked goods is going to work as a replacement for molasses, not necessarily a replacement for sugar. One thing that I've seen people do with this is put it on pancakes, which sounds pretty good. I think I want to try that. Okay, so this is where having the new kitchen is very nice. I have a surface in front of me instead of having to do this at a countertop like I've been doing for the past 12 years. Okay, so to make really, really easy pancakes, 1 cup of flour, a couple tablespoons of sugar, bit of salt. Yeah, I'm not really measuring things because I want to do this really fast. Baking powder, that's too much. But, yeah, just because I have a nicer kitchen now doesn't mean I'm not going to make a mess, guys. Stir to combine. Pro tip, get some egg replacer. It is not as good as regular eggs, no, but it's so much more convenient, especially if you're like me and you can't get through an entire carton of eggs without them going bad. And to use egg replacer, you put 1 tablespoon of the powder to 2 tablespoons of water to make 1 egg. Cup of milk. Splash of vanilla extract. And 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. So I'm going to pour it into the center and combine. Alright, so I made myself some pancakes and I also made myself a nice cup of tea. So I'm going to actually start with the tea, pinky extended. No, that doesn't work because it tastes like I put molasses in my tea, which I mean, that's fine if that's how you roll, but I can't really taste the tea anymore because the Yacon syrup is too powerful. I put a significant amount of that syrup in there, but even so, it doesn't taste as sweet as if I were to put sugar in that tea. With this, I think the sweetness is okay, but yeah, you can't taste the tea and it's not super sweet, so. Pancakes. Let's go on to the pancakes. Making a mess. Okay, here we go. So people use the Yacon syrup as a maple syrup alternative. Definitely doesn't taste like maple syrup, but does it work well on pancakes is the question here. Yes. Yes, it does. I don't think it tastes like maple syrup. I think it tastes like Yacon syrup. And Yacon syrup on pancakes is a nice flavor. I think the malty, molassesy flavor that is in there goes well with like the grainy flavor of pancakes. So yeah, that's pretty good. The Yacon root, one of few culinary fruits that are out there, is really interesting. It's really interesting. It is really tasty. I think using this as a fruit makes sense. Makes a little bit more sense if you put something on top of it, put a little sugar on it, a little bit of chili powder or something, bring out a little bit more flavor of it, because it is quite mild, but it does feel like a fruit when you eat it. And if you can't get Yacon root and you want to try the Yacon syrup, this is good. You know, I don't know how much I would like to spend $15 for a little jar of this, but you know, it's quite strong. It does, you know, go a long way. So I think, yeah, it's worth picking up once just to try it. But maybe even more, like if you're someone who grows plants or has access to fresh Yacon, make it yourself. I think you pretty much just have to like boil this stuff down and strain it out and you get Yacon syrup. And that is a pretty interesting thing. It's cool that you can take a root and make something that works on top of pancakes or works as a molasses alternative. The whole thing about this being a healthier alternative to sugar, I feel, is kind of like missing the mark. You know, this is good for what it is. You know, buy this because you want to try Yacon syrup, not because you want a sugar alternative. If you want a sugar alternative, there are, I think, better options. Get monk fruit. You know, there's 0 glycemic index in that. There's 0 calories in that. Get a bag of fructose from Vitamin World. That's got 20 glycemic index and no calories. Do that. I mean, buying something like this that is very expensive just because you can't have sugar, it seems a bit excessive. If you're going to spend the money on this, enjoy it for what it is. Just remember, be careful, because if you have too much of the syrup, much like if you have too much of the root, it's going to give you gas and diarrhea, or it might give some of you gas and diarrhea. So, you know, take it easy, guys, but it is certainly something to check out. Just a quick update for everybody out there who is wondering how my insides fared after having so much of the Yacon or Yacón or whatever you want to call it. So the fresh root had no effect on me. I didn't notice anything. I ate, you know, like 3 pieces of it in one sitting. I was fine. That syrup, though, that did a number on me. I'm not going to go into detail, but let's just say that I have given up trying to pronounce the name of this root correctly, and now just refer to it as the toot root. Let's leave it at that. But if you want to try the syrup or the root, you go easy on it. I had way too much of it, and I think that's why I put like a quarter cup of that stuff on my pancakes, and I probably should have put like a teaspoon on it. So yeah, if you want to try this, I'd say just start small and then work your way up. Don't do what I did. So yeah, that's probably too much information, so you're welcome, and I will see you all next time. I would like to give a very big thank you to Henry. Henry is a new super patron over on patreon.com, and this is how the show happens. So thank you, Henry. Also, a thank you to the mega patrons out there, Bill T, Joseph McCorkle, and Smarter Every Day. Thank you for your help, guys, and for anyone watching who is interested in learning more about how you can help out the channel, check out the links in the description below.